Sit down, everybody, and welcome to satsang. Tonight, as we get ready to begin our first night of these 3 nights, Devi, Gyan, Yagna, we at the ashram wanted to do satsang discourse focused on that form called Saraswati Mata. Just a couple of days away, we'll be celebrating Saraswati Jayanti. And we know the tradition, we know the practice on Saraswati Jayanti of doing puja, worshipping Mother. And unfortunately, sometimes when you ask younger Hindus, why do we do what we do? For some, as I keep saying, I only do it because I only worship her because mommy said to worship her. My mother told me to do this prayer. I had to bring my harmonium or my instrument, whatever that instrument is, to the mandir or to buy my guru to get it blessed. My parents said I had to do it. But as we grow together in our knowledge, as we walk closer and closer to God, Sankhya Yoga is the study of God and His works, His glories, His history, His teachings, and that knowledge, Sankhya or Gyan Yoga, that type of practice where my worship is, I want to learn about my God more. Bhagavad Gita, he talks about the various ways a person finds God. And Sankhya Yoga or Gyan Yoga is that knowledge that a person is searching for. Knowledge about the form, why we do what we do, how to do, cannot be separate from Bhakti Yoga or the practice of devotion. Because it's great, you're doing prayer. It's great, I can do prayer, Baba. I get up and I offer my dar to Saraswati Mata. But why do you do it? I don't know. I don't know why I do it. I grew up since I was small doing it. Why you do it? I do. So in Bhagavad Gita it says doing is good, but if you know why you're doing, knowledge together with the bhakti is great. Because when you know about your God, when you sit and talk to God, now you know who you're talking to, why and what is the reason for offering these things or doing it this way or sitting in this posture or whatever it is. So for these 3 nights, the Gyan that I would like to impart, taken from our text, is to help you understand, children and adults alike, why we do what we do. Tonight, for example, we're going to hear a little bit about Brahma, Mother's creation, where did Mother come from. Many people are celebrating Saraswati Mata's birthday. So my birthday or Jayanti is the day I come into being. But if I ask you about the coming into being of Krishna, we know Janamashmi. Ram, we know Ram Navami, midday, 12 o'clock in the day, how he comes to be and why he comes to be. But if I ask you about Saraswati Mata, sometimes that picture is a little bit cloudy. It is not as clear, and sometimes the understanding of Saraswati is a little muddled and lost in translation. I know Lakshmi Mata comes back for Diwali, I know Durga Mata comes for Navaratri, but I don't know much about this Saraswati. Tonight, permit me, together with the team here in the ashram, to read for you something that will educate you and put you on better standing when you're with your Baba doing prayer on Tuesday coming for Saraswati Jayanti. Before we do so, please join your hands as we do simple opening mantra before we continue. Om Gajananam Bhotaganadi Sevitam Kapeta Jumbo Palachar Bhakshitam Umasutam Sho Kavinashkarakam Namami Viganeshwara Arapankajam Sarvamangalamangaliye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambike Gauri Narayani Namostute. Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurudevo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Om Namah Shivaya 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 Om Namah Shivaya. प्रेम से बोलो श्री सरस्वती माता की जय, महापति महादेव की जय. Let's sing a little bit as we go as a Bhaksham, glorifying that Adi Shakti, that Mother, before we go into her discourse. Janani, Janani, Satya Sai, Shubha Janani, Jagat Karini, Paripurnani, Saishwari Janani, Satya Swarupini Janani, Dharma Samrakshini Janani, Satya Swarupini Janani, Dharma Samrakshini Janani, Shanta Swarupini Janani, Prema Pradayini Janani, Sai Prema Pradayini Janani, 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 Satya Sai Shubha Janani, Jagatandini Paripurnani, Saishwari Janani, Satya Swarupini Janani, Dharma Samrakshini Janani, 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 Satya Sai Shubha Janani, Shanta Swarupini Janani, Shanta Swarupini Janani, Prema Pradayini Janani, Swami Prema Pradayini Janani, 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 Satya Sai Shubha Janani, Jagatarini Paripurnani, Saishwari Janani. Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. For those of you watching live, please share this satsang. For those of you looking on and repeat, may you please, whether on YouTube or Facebook, subscribe to the channel so that you will be notified whenever we are doing more and more satsang. Please tell me where you're from, send me a comment on Facebook, and let me know where you're from, if you're enjoying our satsang tonight and if you learned anything. Please share your comments. Tonight as we join together in a little bit, we will pray for Saraswati Mata. We enter tonight in chapter 3 of the Mastya Puran. Mastya is that first form of Lord Vishnu. And in this text, Lord Vishnu is describing creation and certain bits of information. Mastya is being asked, this incarnation of Lord Vishnu, as I said, is being asked from Manu about Lord Brahma. And in doing it, we're going to hear about Saraswati Mata tonight. Manu says, Prabhu, Mahavishnu, Mastya, how did Brahma, the most learned, most settled individual, achieve 4 faces. How did he get all these different heads? When you look at Brahma, he has a different amount of heads. Why did that happen? How did he engage in creation? What happened? Could you please describe this to me? And tonight, we begin here where Lord Vishnu begins to explain to him. And in doing it, we are going to learn about our Mother Saraswati. In the next couple of days, we'll do different discourses, obviously, that will give you more and more insight into Mother. Let's go now as we hear in this first slope, where he's talking about how Brahma, sitting by himself, firstly, sitting by himself, started to pray. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Tapascharya patamam mamarannam pitaye maha avirbhuta swato vedo mahatwij patwij padyaye karam. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Purana sarva shastra ye pratam Brahma smarantam ye nitya shabdham ye punashat koti paristuyam nayati. Narayanaya Krishnaya Paramatmaya Namo Namah. Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki. O great priest, Brahma, the grandfather, the grandsire of all the Devas, initially performed the great tapasya. And with the influence of all the Angas, Upangas, Padmas, Kramas, different inundation, different posture, different energies, different things swirling about his body as a cosmic father, the first thing that is created is the Vedas. Before creating all the Shastras, Brahma had composed the Puranas too, full of indestructible teachings, law, guidance, full of words auspicious, comprised of hundreds of couplets of verses. Thereafter emerged from the mount of Brahma the Veda with all its accessories, mimas, nyas, etc. Then the sons of Brahma, who were engaged in the recitation of the same Veda, they were born because of the desires that he had in his head. Because he had foreseen that each one of his sons would have different roles to play, in his mind, those desires brought forth these children, and because they had been conceived in his mind, these people are considered to be the mind-born sons of Brahma. In this example, at this point, there is no sexual reproduction. There are no two cells coming together to create a new being. This is, in a sense, asexual reproduction. This is from one form, one big globe of energy, spiraling off into little sublets or sub-amounts of that same energy. Now we will call them his sons. Marich was the first one that came from Brahma. Atri Muni, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kritu, after which came Prachet and Vashisht. These, not to mention Brigu, coming after Vashisht Muni, and then the last one was Narad Muni. These great sages form the different lineage that a person has. When you and I go to sit to do puja, you will hear the Baba will be reciting and he says a word called Gotra. They are the head of all these lineage. Until today, when we do puja, we say, I, Keshava, of the family Gosine, who belong to such and such Gotra, am doing Saraswati Puja. These people, these sons, till this day, when we are doing Saptarishi Puja, or we are doing the Tarpan, when we are doing Shrad, Rishi Tarpan, all these things, these people, their names are still called, and you will see we are offering of the tip of the fingers for them. In our prayer, we worship these forefathers. Let's see what happens. Who else is born of Brahma? Guruji, Prabhu, please tell me. Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namah Sharirat Man Vyakshaye Yami Matri Mahina Prajapati Angushta Arishtayata Prajapati Rajanayatah Dharma Santanaye Bhagavan Buddhi Samudrayata Bhumiyate Krodhanti Lobhaya Rasbhavaye Buddhiye Manah Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Shakti Rupena Samstita Namastasye 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 Namo Namo Namah Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. Lord Vishnu says, Manu, now it was time for him to create again. That these children that he's creating is without mothers. They are coming again from his body. Who are they? These children that were void of the mother is that person who is considered to be the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, the father of Sati Devi. Daksh Prajapati comes from the right hand thumb. The right hand thumb of Lord Brahma makes this son. From his chest region, Dharma comes. From his heart comes Kamdev or Cupid, the god of love. The ability to have anger is formed from the time and the interval between the blinking of his eyes. When he will twinkle his eyes, there anger comes. Lobha or greediness comes from the lower regions of his body. Buddhi gave birth to delusion or moha. And mother, inebriety, came for the inability to become drunk, loss of senses, came out of ahankar or false pride. Pramoda, or the ability to feel pleasure, came from the neck region. In this part of the body where hormones are secreted, different sensations are possible, and likewise in the Hindu discourse, Brahma creates the ability for a person to feel happiness, goodness, different forms of pleasure from the neck region of his body. Death came from his eyes. Bharat was born of his palm. O Rajan, these 9 sons were born of the body of Brahma. The 10th issue, the 10th child in this set was not a boy but a girl child. Name Angaja. Manu asked, whatever has been told by you, O Prabhu, I accept it. Moha was born out of intelligence. And in the same context, you have mentioned ahankar or false pride, crude, and the wisdom. What is all this? Kindly enlighten me in these topics. Tell me the history of this creation. And for the next few verses, he starts to describe how the energies created certain things. Please bear as we are on our way to reach where Saraswati Mata is going to be introduced. As he's creating the various bodies, the various energies that take to form a living entity. Let's hear what happens. in this verse. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. 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 Mukam karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripat maham bande Yat kripat maham bande Paramanandam madhavam Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol Satvana Jasya Tejo Satogun Treta Madhya Matam Maya Mamyateva Tiryatape Prakriti Parikriyatam Tejasvinatani Mayate Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol Jai Jai Radha Ramana Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. He says, oh Raj Rishi, Royal Prince, the three gunas, Sato, Rajo and Tamo Gun, as they are always mentioned. The presence of these three gunas attribute to the equiposal form of the Prakriti. In different ways she will manifest. Prakriti is that energy or the Devi. It is just a name for Shakti. And she will take form in the goodness. She will take form in the mediocre. She will take form in the worst way. Think about yourself and how you conduct yourself sometimes. Your best behavior and your not so good day, worst day. When different gunas are predominant on your body, what gives that predominance? What gives the variation? What makes one person could be very happy and jovial, and you change the setting, the person is very depressed, angry, hurt, insulted in different ways. And it is the energy of mother that allows for the energy or the maintenance of the creation, that which is created throughout this universe. So mother uses these gunas to manifest. It is through these gunas that the devatas, the demonic manush or man is maintained and created. It is her energy that allows for all forms to have life, maintain life, to recycle energy within your body, recycle cells, etc. The atomic energy that goes into the breaking up of different cells in the course of your day, in the course of the body, and when we go for rest, the regeneration, that is where Devi manifests in these forms. When that Devi is no longer working or as active in your body, this is where a person becomes sickly, or a person could have some form of ailment. It is because of this, the same Devata, the same God exists in different forms. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, for example. Then, with the forming of the Pradhan or the principal form, the one energy, emerged the Mahatattva or the supreme energy of the three gunas, the supreme element from which everything is existing from. From that Mahatattva emerged Ahankar, which is the cause of the increase in a person's pride, their ego. Good and bad. Tamogun, Sattvic gun, all is there. The said Ahankar influences the 10 sense organs. I am a degree holder. I can play the best drum. I know the best about the computers. You know, today the children and they're doing the school, my nephew, that's smart fella. the whole Prabhu, so many parents are struggling. They just keep up with them. They have this to do, they have to send on the WhatsApp, you have to get back the homework, and you have to transfer it here, and you have to go on Google Teams and upload this and do that. And you know what my nephew just do, everybody? He watching Sir talking, and then he gonna minimize Sir, and he go click on the game, and it's only at this time he listen to the teacher, but when he ain't click in the room. When he playing video game with all his friends and them all over. No mama, I listen to Sir. I am more smarter than you. That level of thought comes from this lower gun because you don't realize who is the I. This I is really a divine chunk, a little piece of energy that has been taken and molded in you. But the person, and including myself, we think that I am separate from everybody else and I am separate from God. I am in control of my body. I know what I want. I know what is good for me. The truth and in fact is, the Baba know what's good for him because he eating all the roti and he get them. And the same person, due to laziness, due to addiction, due to bad habit, bad company, damages their own body. The same thing that I just said came from divine and was made in perfection. You absorb the wrong. You put yourself in the wrong places and you put yourself with the wrong people and you get yourself in bad company. You get yourself damaged. Who told you to go and drive the people car and go police it? Who told you to drink and drive? Who told you to speed whilst driving? And you do these things because it is my life, it is my body, and I am in charge. But then, because of that tamogun, the person is making bad choices. And when we get the consequence of the choices, somebody do more here upon it. Somebody, them do more here. Then people up the road do more here. I feel as them moving. But we never realize we is sometimes the biggest cross in your own life. We cause the biggest trouble in your own life. Anybody agree with that? Please leave my comment. Out of these 10 organs, 5 are influenced by wisdom, knowledge, whilst the other 5, the subservient 5, they are dependent on the karma or the past karma of our deeds. In the group of sense organs, the ears, the eyes, the tongue, the nose, these Gyan indriyas, the organs of knowledge, and the others, the organs of karma, this is the anus, private, the hands, the feet, the speech organs. These are guided by a person's karma. These things you have no control over. I can lose an appendage, my hand might stop working, but I might have the knowledge of what to speak. I can improve my speech. I can improve what I choose to put in my ears, my company, what we discuss. We peel in the car, and you see how she come last night in the satsang? She's trying to play sadhu right now. She gave it everybody else one, but now she want to play, she's sadhu. And we cutting up the people in the car, reporting, they were fighting the prayers. You gotta offer that in the fire for God, but what will we choose saying and doing over the person? So certain things with knowledge you're gonna uplift yourself, and certain things because of karma you have less and less control over. Certain things you are just pulled, such as the sexual organ, as you hear a little bit when we hear about the calm breathing. The functioning of all these 10 organs, senses include sound, touch, beauty, taste, the ability to enjoy fragrance, the getting rid of the refuse of your body, number 1, number 2, the ability to feel happy, delightful, receiving, moving, singing. There are some people because of maybe hormonal imbalance, maybe because of depression, postpartum depression. In Trinidad, mental disorder, mental disease is a kind of taboo topic. When a child has a problem, when a person has a problem, when a lady has a problem, we shun them and we say, those are mad people. And you speak to them and speak about them in a very disrespectful way. But mental disorder is on a rise, and the truth is, people and the sickness, it would be mean if you ill speak or hurt a child that has been born with a different need, a child with special needs. The child can ask for that. The child isn't born asking, could I have Down syndrome, or could I have autism, or Asperger, or some complex that makes it little difficult to do the normal. The teachers in the school system will know what I'm saying. You have to figure out different ways to reach such a child. It is not that it is impossible. When these children are born without the ability, for example, a child with Asperger, a minimal amount of how you call it? A person who has different complexes, they might not know how to socialize. So me and you, just to paint that picture, me and you might take it for granted how to make a friend. For the children out there in particular. And imagine children, they could be tough, they could be mean too. So imagine a child say, yeah, I'm your friend. I'm your friend. In that kind of rough tone. The child, me and you might understand, okay, that person is being sarcastic. That person does not mean to be my friend. But there are people with Asperger which gives them unlimited understanding. To say the word friend, I mean we are friends. And I hope you see the danger in that. Anybody could be a friend, just say I'm a friend. And the child wouldn't understand the difference. You go to school to learn math, you go to school to learn English. But where does a parent learn how to deal with that special need? I didn't grow up with that. My sisters and brothers won't like that. So I don't know how to approach or how to teach. And this is where I guess the professionals come in Trinidad. People like Mrs. Swan and Ms. Bahadur Singh and all these people that work in the Ministry of Education in Trinidad. And there are many people employed in social services across the world that make time for children that don't have these amenities or facilities or faculties in their ability. And these people spend their life saving these children experience because they simply don't understand how to interact or how to socialize, how to find joy based on what we're reading here tonight. The organs of this body, of the person, probably. How about the thing? Imagine you take singing for granted. If I ask my niece to sing a bhajan with me tonight on this live, oh God, better take off she hair and skin she. That might be easier. Because to sing, oh God. But when the day God says you can't sing or you can't talk, then you'll hear the person talk, well, I wish I could sing. I wish I could clap. I wish I could be in a satsang. He says these organs, the mind is another organ of the individual soul that lies enshrined within all these senses. It is for this reason that the frame within which it lies, the asylum of the individual soul, is known as the subtle body, or the suksham sharir, or the shield, or what is encapsulated in the soul. The individual soul, by coming into contact with the atomic structure called tongue mantra, or the corporal body of all these sense organs and all these different energies, they encapsulate the soul in a shell, let's call it like a gyalite. And when it's time for the soul to leave the body, this comes out. This is called Shuksham Sharir, or a simple form, a simple jiv, energy that has the body of subtle energy or energy. This is what the Sharir means. When the mind is forced by desire to engage itself in creation, then it resorts to the creation of the universe. From the Shabda Tan Mantra emerges the sky, the qualities of sound. From the sky, wind, qualities of sound and touch. Therefore, the touch of the wind is pleasure, splendor, and pleasure is form. The wind, on the other hand, comprises of sound, touch, form. Imagine the wind blowing across water, the wind blowing the trees. What we are learning in science now, it is written here for many years ago. It was already proven. In science today, people experimented like if I'm smoking a cigarette or I light a horn and smoke is coming, why does the smoke move the way it is moved? And scientists in the Western world realized that it was the atomic energy molecules in the air bombarding the smoke that we could see, causing it to shift in shape. Here it is describing about how God created the wind, and from the wind He created the different things that come from it. The Tej or the Triguna Maka, which comes from the water, the different energies that come from these things, He then created. Before deriving and such, the rasa or the juice, the liquids that flow in all plants, in the earth, the attributes that give different forms of life, all the tattva, all the different organs of wisdom, Gyan, karmas, mahabhutas, the 5 ton mantras, ahankar, the mind, the wisdom, all these things that are enjoyed by humans today, these functions of the body and the functions of the mind were based on the commandment of Brahma. Because of this, he is called Jiv Atma. Jiv Atma refers to the soul that is encapsulated by 26 tattva or energy around it, looking something like that there. The sage Kapil had been given it the name Sankhya. Because of their learning towards Sankhya philosophy, Brahma too resorted to the creation of the universe, depending on the various tattva, or the union of the soul and the energy, or nature as you might call it. When Brahma himself was praying and using his mind to create, in his mind, as he was creating the various parts and the various portions of this creation, as the Jiva Atma is formed at that time in his body, performing his tapasya, his body separated into 2. From one part came the male as we know in Brahma, and on the other part came female. Let's hear what happens. As we enter into the slope, as Lord Vishnu has just tweaked the interest of money. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. 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 Mukham karoti vachalam Pangum langhayate girim Yat kripatamaham vande Paramanandam madhavam. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Saraswati Gayatri Brahmani Cha Puran Tap Tattva Sarve Deha Sambhuta Mat Pujana Mityaye Kalye Drishtitam Vedvaye Gayatri. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Jai Jai Radha Ramana Hari Bol. Prem se bolo Shri Saraswati Mata ki Jai. O great sage, the female, she was first called Savitri or Sat Rupa. Sat Rupa means the true form of the Devi. The same is also called Saraswati, Gayatri or Brahmani Devi. All is Saraswati Mata. Thus Brahma accepted this Savitri, this Saraswati who was born from his own body as his consort. He was fascinated and filled with love towards her, and bound by her beauty, he says, "Who are you? What pleasant form are you?" As he was now overrun with that tamogun based on his own thoughts. As these things were being created in his mind, it infected his body. thinking about nothing else except that Devi Savitri. Savitri is the name we use when we are doing Matrika Puja. And Saraswati is in this form where she's by herself. But when she is sitting with all the different mothers, we refer to her as Savitri Devi. He kept repeating, oh, what an astonishing form, what beauty. And in this way, he was carried away by mother, that Maya. For this reason now, mother is about to do something to pacify him. Let's hear what happens in this verse. Jai Bole Baba Tab Sharanam, 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 Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tab Sharanam. Ata Pradakshna ye chakra sapi tu varne saraswati putro ye bhyo leyati tarapulo ke ye yatam. Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam, Jai Bole Baba Tav Sharanam. Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tava Sharanam, Jai Samba Sada Shiva Tava Sharanam. Therefore, Saraswati starts to circumambulate Brahma. And she is walking around him, and as she is passing, first she started in front of him, and as she's going this way, head prop up this way, second head come. As she went to the back, another head prop up. As she came on this side, a fourth head come up, and as she reached back to the front, he stopped. It is said, as these different forms came, each lip, each head was trembling as he looked at her. Fluttering lips appeared on each head. And as mother was moving the calm, the arrow of Kamdev, it was as if it had pierced his own chest. His own son had hit him with love. And this is how the fourth head came. As he continued to gaze at her repeatedly, doing the jap, calling her name constantly, his tapasya was broken because his mind strayed from what he was doing. As a result of this sin, a fifth head of Brahma emerged. This head had matted locks, and it was the cause of the destructive energies in the cycle of oxygen, in the cycle of water, in the cycle of a cell, in the cycle of any atom. There comes a point where all it is exhausted, it is overcome, and it has to be regenerated. And the body or that system, like the earth, with the ozone cycle, with other cycles, there comes a point where there must be a regeneration. And when in regeneration, before it comes back out, it must break down. And that breaking down process or processes were formed by this fifth head of Brahma. Thereafter, Brahma commanded his mind-born sons, Marich and others, to start to create the devatas, the demons, the humans, to form life upon the earth. He commanded his other sons, Kashyap Muni and others, to start to make animals, aquatic, bird, etc. And then he decides that he must marry Saraswati Mata. And after the lapse of time, from that Devi, Satrupa or Saraswati Mata, comes that one who is called Swayambhu Manu. Sometimes people ask, so Saraswati Mata didn't have children? And according to Matsya Puran, chapter 4, that son or that person called Swayambhu Manu is also called in Devi Bhagavad Virat, that one who is possessing all the virtues from his father. He is called Adi Purusha, the person who has all the good qualities, the energy. And from this family they started to multiply. The very largest is the dynasty of Brahma and his children. All the different Manus, all the very Vashvat Manu, etc. that we still see today when we are doing the Sankalp for the Puja. Depending on what year, depending on what frame, there is a Manu in charge of that 100 years, etc. Manu continue now, he says, Prabhu, could you tell me how Brahma ended up in this situation where he's getting married? How is it possible that he who was doing all the prayer and all the different Gyan, tapasya, the person who is able, because of his power, to create children from his own mind, how is it that this person is now encapsulated, entrapped in the snare of love and is helpless to the gate of Saraswati Mata? Let's hear what he says in this verse. Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol, Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol, Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol, Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol. Divya ye atapi drishta ye rajogun ye samodari atiti indriya tada drishyayati sharire yayakam drishta ye nata nata bhupayate. Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol, Jai Jai Radha Raman Hari Bol. Shri Adi Shakti Mata ki Jai. He says, O Manu, Master says, O Manu, Rajogun creation, emerging in the form of Satrupa, other divine entities, more Prakriti, Mother is taking this form. And with her Maya, this damsel, her body, her ability, her knowledge has attracted that of the male form, Brahma. The Purusha or the male form of God cannot function without the Devi, without the Prakriti. Or imagine the best toy, the best remote control, the best watch, without the battery as a supply, that best watch cannot function. You could have first class car, you could have the best car, you could have the best television, without the energy to run that equipment, it is without use. Likewise, in various discourses where Parvati Mata is scolding Lord Shiva, in this discourse, in the kathas where Lakshmi Mata is the one who wakes up Lord Vishnu, in every one, Devi says, without me, he cannot function, he cannot do anything. When Ram has to come upon the earth, he has to get their support. Mother, may you allow me to go upon the earth and may you support my work and I will propagate your worship. For this reason, when Ram comes upon the earth, he does Naratan Brat. When Krishna comes and Durga Mata worship is propagated, because she's the one who jumps up into the sky to say, "Oh, comes you fool, your murderer has already been transported." Because of that work and that support, Devi Ma prayer was propagated. He says, because without her, he cannot function. The natural instinct is to be close to her, to have her. The human having body of flesh cannot be described with just these mortal eyes, because we are only looking at these physical features and we are not looking at what is inner and what cannot be described. The way of Sattva, the way of Saraswati and Brahma cannot be described based on what you and I look at in man and woman. This is so much more. This is the inert energy, sublime and insublime energy that guide throughout this world, male and female, positive, negative, yin and yang. These two coming together in the way we know them as Brahma and Saraswati, now intertwined so that creation will take shape and take forward. Gayatri is in that same form of Sattva, and she's born of the limbs. The Gayatri mantra is born of the right thigh, leg or bone of Brahma. Therefore, this union is conceived visibly as well as invisible. Alas, where there is Brahma, Saraswati is bound to be there, and wherever Saraswati is, Brahma must be there. Just as the sunshine cannot be separated from the sun, likewise the Gayatri mantra or that Saraswati Devi cannot be separated from the company of Brahma. Therefore, when she comes into being, it is only natural that they want to be together and they want to be one. Though Brahma represents all the Ved, Savitri or Gayatri is the supreme goddess for him. Therefore, Brahma does not earn any blemish in having been married or being together with Saraswati Mata. When Brahma had finished all his work and got married and all these things, he summons, I want you to remember this part. I'm nearly finished. Somebody's about to get in trouble. He feels as if this entire Leela with Saraswati Mata, where the heads have been formed, because I'm sure you've seen some movie or something where Brahma has one head. But in the formation discourse, you'll hear it for Lord Shiva is coming up, Shivratri is coming up. When Bhairav Baba is created, Lord Shiva tells Bhairav, take off one head of Brahma. And these multiple heads, tonight you have learned why they came into being, reason, the history. When all this was finished, Brahma calls on his son who came from his heart, Kamdev, God of love. And he says, oh, you have wounded even me with your arrow. Why did you do this? Kamdev says, it is my job to guide all form of creation, so that just as my brothers, the other forms that were created from his body, are propagating new life, my job is to raise the inner drive with the animal kingdom. When it is time to copulate, when it is time to repopulate, to make numbers, they, without anybody triggering them, they would want to come together so that they can reproduce. In everything in this life, I encourage that natural instinct that man and woman must come together for the propagation of that race and that family. Whether we are talking about fish, bird, everything has a season. And I am the one who causes that season or to trigger that within them. Dear Father, you coming into the creative process and you are not exempt from that. And for this reason you fell under my gaze. For this reason you fell in love with Saraswati Mata. For children to understand. Mother was created for you because she's the only one that is capable of understanding your true role and power and housing your energy. Brahma becomes angry at him because his tapasya, as I said, with that destruction of Saraswati Mata, his tapasya was lost. He gets angry and he says, because you attacked me, because you interfered with my prayer, whilst I was praying, I lost my equilibrium. I put strap on you, Rudra or Madhav Baba will burn you to ashes. When they want Madhav Baba to accept a wife, and Kamdev goes and he does the work of shooting the arrow into Lord Shiva so that he would become in need, in want of Devi Ma. From the third eye region, he shoots a beam of light and he burns Kamdev. So it did come to pass. Tonight we know why this happened. Kamdev is hurt. He says, I am your son. Why would you pronounce a shrap on me? What is the purpose behind this? What use is this? You must give me a purpose or blessing or something. You cannot just, I was doing my job, you told me what to do. You can't just hit me a shrap like that. Don't do that. Brahma, realizing what he had done out of anger. Listen to this. He says, O Kamdev, when it is the Vaivashvat Manvandar, when Rama, the destroyers of all the demons, having my power, shall incarnate in the form of Balram in the Yadu dynasty, Yadu clan, the indweller of Dwarka. At that time, Vishnu will be born as Krishna. Go and be born as the son of Krishna in the name of Samba and do the work that will bring an end to that Krishna Leela. With great work, you will be very integral in that form. Enjoy Dwarka. Enjoy the company of Mahavishnu in that form. And when you achieve that body, when you achieve that grace, return to heaven. Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Tonight I would like to pause here. This is how Saraswati Mata was created, from the body of Brahma. This is why Brahma has all those different heads. Mother was walking around him and heads started to form. This is why Kamdev got burned. This is where Kamdev ends up. This is why when we are reading Krishna discourse and we hear Samba was such a wicked fella that he causes the fall of Krishna and his entire family. This is why those things, you see how it is linking. When we are spending the time together to listen to various discourses, this is why the history of these things, something caused something. It happened and now it is the result is happening. Tonight, as we are getting ready to conclude, I hope that you are learning and you have learned something. Please send me a question, send me a comment, tell me where you're viewing from, and share this so that other people can learn, and other people can benefit. Before we continue to conclude, please join your hands as we chant a couple of verses in praise of Saraswati Mata. Jayati Jayati Jai Bharati Saraswati Jagadevi Jayati Amit Vardayani Suranar Muni Jan Sevi Jayati Satavadini Shambhavi Veena Vadani Amba Padma Priya Parameshwari एक तुम्हारी है अब विलंबा जय सरस्वती माता जय जय सरस्वती माता ओ जय जय सरस्वती माता जय जय सरस्वती जगदम्बा करहु मातु जनि अज विलंबा बासी मम कतम देहु सदवानी निज सुत जन एक अजनानी करहु काज पुराण जय भक्ति बरहु बुद्धि बल विद्या शक्ति लहम विजय जगमहम यस पाऊं तव नित्य मातु चरण चिरनाहुम वीणा धरे विपुल मंगल दानशीले वक्तातिनाश्नी विरंचि हरीश वंदे कीर्ति प्रदे अखिल मनोरथ दे महादेव विद्या प्रदायिनी सरस्वती नौम्य नित्यम प्रेम से बोलो श्री आदि शक्ति माता की जय. There is more discourse for us, and we'll pick up with it tomorrow night. But in this tonight, in this introductory discourse, I hope that you, within yourself, be fair with yourself, and see how much we do not know about this. This is my intention for these next 3 minutes. I don't want to go too long to be boring. As you would have heard for children, some of these indriyas and these different terms, it might be cumbersome. And some of the next part here is a little descriptive at a different level. And tomorrow night, as we'll switch texts, I'll incorporate that bit into our other discourse dealing with Saraswati Mata. Tonight, we do a couple of verses of the Saraswati Arti as we'll do Mother worship here as children. And the reason why I'm focusing on this, there are a lot of parents that are fighting a hard battle with this online schooling locally, regionally, and internationally. They are fighting with children to get out of the house, to do a little physical exercise, to be a little bit with ambition, to get up and to do what they must do, and they are having problems. And I sympathize as I'm helping with my own niece and nephew, and it's just for Krishna to come back and help me on this earth. When I tell you they had hard, Mama, me, I want to get up in the morning. Mama, 1 more hour. But dear parents, when the exam results come out and F is the word for fail, when they don't give you what you want, then same children will cry. So whilst we love them and we love to pamper them and we love to spoil them, as I am doing for my own self and I'm encouraging you to do and I'm giving you that encouragement, make the tough decisions now. Do the prayer, do the puja, do the right thing. Encourage them to do their work. Supervise them. It is not easy, especially if you're working and you're outside and you have to call home or make WhatsApp calls or all these things to check in on them. It will pay off in the long run. and God bless your children that they do the correct thing and they do what needs to be done. Jai Saraswati Mata. I do this arti on behalf of everybody. Please join your hands as we just do a couple of verses. Jai Saraswati Mata, Sadguna Vaibhavashalini, Tribhuvana Vidya Mata. Om Jai Saraswati Mata, Chandravadini Padmasadini, Dyuti Mangalkari. Om Maya Dyuti Mangalkari, Sohe Shubhangsa Savari, Atula Tejadari. Om Jai Saraswati Mata, Om Jai Saraswati Mata. Everybody join your hands as we do final practice. For those of you looking on YouTube, as we repeat on Facebook, whatever it be. May God bless you as you walk towards that Saraswati Gyan, as I emphasize on the children. Tomorrow night I want to talk about why we bow like this. What is the big thing about your forehead? Why do we put chandan here? What is these things about? And a little more information on Saraswati Mata. I hope you can join with me. Thank you for viewing. God bless you, and I look forward to teaching you again in satsang. Let's all join our hands as we do final prarthana. Tvameva Mata Chapita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhu Chasaka Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Prem Sulamapati Mahadev ki Jai, Putra Hanuman ki Jai, Shri Saraswati Mata ki Jai, Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki Jai, Satya Sanatan Dharma ki Jai. Jai Jai Sitaram. Sitaram everybody. Remember, share this satsang, leave your comments, press that like button, the notification button. For those of you subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow so that I can always add you or join you to the satsang. Again, God bless you, and until tomorrow night, Sitaram.